Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As promised, in today's video, we're going to be going over every single restaurant on board Symphony of the Seas, and most of these are going to be on every single ship. Now, there are certain Oasis class ships that have other things like a railway experience. We're not going to be covering that today because it's not on board this ship, but we went to every single specialty dining restaurant and a bunch of the included restaurants so we can give you our honest review and help you figure out whether you want to buy the dining package or whether they're even worth going to. So let's jump into the review right now. So currently we're on board Symphony of the Seas doing a 7-day sailing out of Bayonne. Because we're sailing in a star class suite this time, it came with a dining package. So we figured it was a perfect opportunity to figure out which of the restaurants are worth the money and which ones are not. Since they're all included, we're gonna go try them all out to let you know. All right, so kicking this thing off, we started with lunch at Jamie's and then did dinner at Jamie's another night to get the full experience. So let's talk about it. What did you have?
For lunch, I had a vodka pasta with a little bit of kick to it, which is good because we like spice.
And then I had the linguine and shrimp, which was actually a very nice dish. I will say though, I felt like overall, Jamie's was just okay. I don't feel like it's like an outstanding Italian restaurant. Like it doesn't call me to want to come back. What about you?
So if you're a pasta lover, they definitely have lots of options during lunchtime. If you choose to go during dinner, they'll have more of those entrees with the meats, including the pastas.
Yeah, that's true. So I tried to order a lamb dish and they only have it at dinner time. They just happened to hand me the dinner menu. So I tried and they said, no, it's only available for dinner. Now, the dinner experience was completely different. Multiple times people in our party ordered stuff that was on the menu and they were like, oh, we don't have that. We don't have that. Or it came out incorrect or it came out wrong. Same thing with drinks and desserts. Even things like limoncello that are clearly on there, not available. People never got their drinks. Food came out wrong. I mean, it was a pretty bad experience. And then when things got brought up to the waiter, he said, it's not my fault. I'm just the waiter. So take that for what you will. I gotta be honest with you, out of all the restaurants on board, Jamie's Italian is my least favorite.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd rather go to 150 Central Park instead. I'd pick any of the others, but Jamie's is usually on the bottom of our list.
Yeah, and it remains so, especially with the service that we got for dinner that night. You're just expecting better service when you're paying above and beyond, because this is not included. So you've already paid for the cruise and now you've either bought the dining package or you're paying like an a la carte price basically to go there for that night and upcharge. And you're just expecting better. I want my food to be right. I want my waiter to, take accountability for what's going on. And that just wasn't happening. Drinks were wrong, food was wrong. So if I had to give Jamie's Italian a score, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
I would give it a 5 just because the lunch was good. They were quick, they were on point. Dinner was kind of a train wreck. So I would let it land halfway in the middle.
I can't settle with an okay score, but hey, that's why we give different opinions. Okay, so for dinner on night 1, we went to Wonderland, something that Royal Caribbean has branded as imaginative cuisine. It's much more about immersing you into the belief that you're in Wonderland than it is about the quantity of the food or even the type of food that's being provided. So let's go through your experience.
It all starts before you even get into the restaurant. So they have like a little porthole. So if you've seen Alice in Wonderland, they go down the rabbit hole. So they have a little porthole that's all decorated very whimsically. And then they have a beautifully decorated door you can open and walk through to enter the restaurant.
And then you go down there, we got seated with the Mad Hatter. He actually came down to seat us at the table. They do a couple fun things for you there depending on the type of table that you get. But then the food is presented in a completely different way. So you don't just get a paper menu that you just read from, you get a menu in a frame and then you have to take an action and do something to actually reveal the menu. So the magic starts pretty early on. From there, it is separated into like elements is what they call it. So you have fire and water, ice and earth, stuff like that. And the menu is brought out to you based on those different elements. So our waiter chose to just bring us what he called the hits, the best of every single element. So we weren't there trying to pick something. He's like, I promise you, I will bring you the best of each category that we know you guys are gonna enjoy. I gotta tell you, while most of the food is good, I wouldn't say it's like the best food on board, but one of my favorite dishes is there, and it's a like coconut fried shrimp that comes with a Scotch bonnet mousse. And this was amazing. It was so good. I was like, you need to bring me more of these. And so the waiter did.
He did. And if you're like me and you don't like the seafood, the chef turns another food item into a whimsical experience. So you also get to taste all of the different elements along the way.
And like I was saying, it's not so much about the food item itself, it's much more about the presentation of the food. So as you've been seeing here, they just do a bunch of cool things with like smoke or different presentations to really like reveal the food or give it some kind of like magical sense to it, right? It's definitely an experience. So if you've never been to Wonderland before, I would definitely recommend trying it. At least go once. And if you like it, you can always go back, but it's worth a shot. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Wonderland?
I would give them a 7, just because, maybe 7.5. Just because it's not the best food on the ship for us. Love the experience, love the presentation. 7.5.
I'm gonna also give it a 7.5, and here's why. I feel like the experience itself is super cool, and if you've never done it, it's a really cool thing to go experience. The food is all good, not all of it is great, and that's kind of what brings it down for me. If it's your first time there, it'll probably be a little bit higher because you don't know what to expect. We kind of knew what to expect going in, but it is good food, and I would pick it all day, every day over going to Jamie's. Next up is Izumi's. So Izumi's offers 2 completely different experiences. You can do like a dine-in sushi type menu, or you can do a hibachi style menu. So we chose to sit as a group and not do the hibachi because we wanted to be able to talk and converse, and it's just too loud on the hibachi side with all the clanging and banging and people laughing. So we did it on the one side and we really enjoyed it. So I had 3 different sushi rolls. They were all really good. It felt fresh. They felt like quality fish, quality sushi. It doesn't come off as if the fish has been frozen or stored long term. It was really delicious. What did you have?
The first time we went, I had the udon noodles, amazing, really good. And the second time, I just had the ramen, which was okay, not my favorite.
So both times we went to Izumi's, it was for lunch. The first time it was very fast. We got our rolls and our food really quickly. The second time, however, though, while the food was still good, the service was so much slower. It took us almost 2 hours for 4 people to have lunch at Izumi's. So just be careful with that. That is kind of the drawback to me for Izumi's. There's only so many sushi chefs, so it does take some time to make all these rolls, and it can tend to slow down the service quite a bit.
Now, I will say the ramen was an improvement over the first time we had it. The ramen the second time still wasn't my favorite, but was good. And, you know, I like it a little spicy, so he even brought out a little bit of the oil so I could put in there to level up and make it not as bland.
Chop's Grille was our next restaurant, and it's an American steakhouse style restaurant. I would definitely say it's a level up from like your Texas Roadhouses, your Outbacks, or even your Longhorns. But I'm not gonna say it's like a high-end steakhouse, right? You're not paying those super high-end prices like you would at a Charlie's or a fancier steakhouse, but you are paying a decent amount for a steak, right? We're looking at $60+ per person. So what did you have?
All right, so I got the lamb for my entree, and then I just got a basic salad for my appetizer. Both were fantastic. Lamb was cooked to perfection. And then the cool thing about Chops is you can select sides to share, or you can just have them all for yourself. As our group, we got some and we shared them all. We got all the sides and we shared them. So that was fantastic. I loved their asparagus.
Okay. Yeah, and then I had the lobster bisque as an appetizer, which was delicious. Did have lobster in it, which is nice. Sometimes you only get like 1 or 2 chunks. It was actually really flavorful, really creamy. It was really good. And then I had a steak that was medium rare, cooked like I asked for it to be prepared, which was really nice. And then of course we partook in the bread and then the family style sides. So the family style sides are great. I still like the Gruyere and bacon tots. Those are amazing. So those are some of the best like little finds on board is the Gruyere bacon tots, I think. So overall, what would you rate Chop's Grille?
You know, I think I would give it a 9 out of 10 because when you go, it's good. The food is really good. The seasons are spot on. Portions are perfect, I feel like there. You don't feel like you get too much or too little. So I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, so for chops, I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10 because it is extremely consistent. Every time we've been there, the steak is always prepared to the temperature that I've asked for it. The food is always consistent. I feel like it's above average, but it's just not like fantastic, like, wow, I really wanna go there for my anniversary, in our opinion. You know, if I was looking to spend more money, this isn't necessarily, if I only had one restaurant to go to on board, this isn't the one, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. So the next restaurant we went to is 150 Central Park. As you can tell by our faces, it is our favorite restaurant on board. It's an upscale American cuisine restaurant and we really, really like it. Now, a neat fact about 150 is that it's 150 from either side of the ship, so it's dead center of the ship technically, which is really cool, and that's kind of why they called it that. But it is a very high-end upscale style dining experience and we love it.
Every single time, food is spot on. As Steven said, we ate there twice this time. The first time I got the venison, the second time I got the duck. Both delish. Every day I could eat there.
Yeah, so for me, the standout there on the menu is the lobster thermidor, or they actually like take the lobster out of the tail, they cook it with some cognac sauce, and then they put it back in. And to me, it's just amazing. It's one of my favorite things to eat there. The honey seared scallops were fantastic as an appetizer as well. The lamb was very good there. So I gotta tell you, like, 150 is one of those places I could go back to all the time. They also have fried cheesecake for dessert, which is two of my favorite things, fried and cheesecake. So those were delicious. And they have one of the coolest cheese plates you can get as a dessert. So do you want to talk about that?
I'll do my best. There were 8 different types of cheese. Pre-COVID, they would bring out a cart and explain all the cheeses to you. Now they just give you this epic cheese plate and kind of tell you what is there, and you get a taste of everything.
So I definitely recommend it if you're into cheese, going there for that. Okay, so I know it's kind of cheating, but scale of 1 to 10, what do you give 150?
10 out of 10. Food's amazing, service is amazing, ambiance is amazing, just everything about 150. Perfect.
I gotta agree. We've been on numerous Oasis class ships. Every time it's a great dining experience. The food is outstanding in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And specifically here on Symphony, both waiters that we had were fantastic. Our most recent one being Andre from the Ukraine was fantastic. So a 10 out of 10 dining experience for me. The service timing was good, the service was excellent, the speed of service was great, the bar drinks were great, and the food was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. 10 out of 10 cannot be topped here. The next restaurant I want to talk about is Hooked Seafood. Hooked Seafood is what it sounds like. It's a fresh catch seafood restaurant on board. Now, I do got to put a disclaimer out there that if you don't like seafood or you have allergies to seafood, there aren't many other options on the menu other than the kids menu.
That's where I come in. And I gotta tell you, our server and our waiter was fantastic. So he comes around and goes, "What would you like?" And I was like, I don't need seafood. And so I start ordering. I looked up the kids menu. I love macaroni. They have fried macaroni bites. Those are really good, by the way. He goes, "How about a steak? We can do a steak for you and your macaroni bites as an appetizer." And I was like, awesome, that's amazing. So he understood, gave a suggestion, knew what the options were, and it turned out really good.
Yeah, and that steak isn't on the menu. So you just have to let your server know, like, hey, this person doesn't eat seafood, what are the options? And then they'll kind of let you know what they can do for you. But I felt it was really good. So they have biscuits that are not the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. They're close, but they're definitely not the same quality, but they are good. I had the Rockefeller oysters, a champagne and brie oyster, as well as calamari for appetizers. Those are all really good. I did feel like the calamari was a bit rubbery, so maybe that wasn't as fresh as it could have been, but the oysters were great. And then I had the Captain's Platter, which came with branzino for fish, which was like the standout of the meal. The branzino was just fantastically cooked. And then it came with lobster and then some shrimp as well. The shrimp were okay. They don't hold a candle to the shrimp over in Wonderland. Okay, so scale of 1 to 10, even though you don't do seafood, Give me a rating for Hooked.
I would give it a 10 out of 10. The biscuits were good. I did do a brownie dessert that was really good. My steak was cooked to perfection. The macaroni bites were really good. So I have absolutely zero complaints from Hooked.
Wow, that's pretty high praise coming from somebody who doesn't eat seafood at a seafood restaurant. I'm gonna give Hooked an 8 out of 10. Again, kind of like Chops, like the food was really good. The branzino was fantastic, fantastic. So if you're looking for seafood on board and you're wanting just a little bit different experience, maybe a little more private than you would in like the main dining room or at one of the buffets, then Hooked is a great option. Another paid restaurant we went to is Playmakers. Playmakers is not included and it's their sports bar themed restaurant. Playmakers, you can just go there to the bar, watch some games, sit in a couch, watch games, play some bar games there, or you can order food. And surprisingly, their food is pretty good.
That is the one restaurant that is almost on every single ship, and we eat there once every sailing. Love their nachos. The food is consistent. The atmosphere is great.
Yeah, so she typically gets the Playmaker nachos, which are really good. It's your traditional Mexican style nachos, but they can put meat on top of it, so you can do like shredded pulled pork or whatever like that. I personally like getting the poke nachos, which are also fantastic. So either way, we're getting nachos while we're there with some drinks. We've done that again this sailing and they haven't disappointed. They were actually so good, we went twice to there as well.
So this sailing, we did go there twice. The first time we went as a team and we got to try their onion rings, the burgers, the chicken tenders, their chicken wings, lots of different opportunities along with my nachos, and everything was fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually a really good restaurant for bar style food. The service kind of hit or miss. It's gonna depend on how busy the place is. When it's not that busy, you can get food and drinks really quick. When it is busier, obviously the service takes a little bit longer, but it's really good food. We enjoy it and we do go there every time. Now, something you're gonna wanna know is if you buy the dining package, it only includes up to $20 there at Playmakers. So if you start ordering nachos and onion rings or whatever, the moment you cross that $20 threshold, you're gonna have to pay for it. So just keep that in mind. And the last specialty restaurant on board is Johny Rocketa's. And Johny Rocketa's is exactly what it sounds like. It's like the one by your house, right? It's exactly like that. The food is exactly like that. The milkshakes are exactly like that. So to me, it's not really worth going to unless you just want the experience of sitting in that American diner style restaurant. You can get that at home. So why waste your time here doing that when you can just go to a town near you and have a Johny Rocketa's there, unless you're just really hankering for a milkshake. Another nice place to eat, and this one is actually included on board Oasis class ships, is the Solarium Bistro. For some reason, early on in sailings, the Solarium Bistro tends not to be packed. It's almost like people don't know it's there, but it's a great time to go check it out because nobody's there. When you're looking for the Solarium Bistro, it's gonna be forward on the ship because it is attached to the solarium at the front of the ship. The doors from the bistro actually lead back out onto the solarium. So if you're in that adult only solarium area and you want a bite to eat, this is a great place you can just pop into and then pop back out of. Now, it is a buffet, but it's slightly different than the Cattle Call Windjammer buffet. You actually get sat at a table, you have a waiter that comes and brings you drinks and that cleans your plates and brings you fresh utensils, and then you just go serve yourself off the buffet. So what was your experience like in Solarium Bistro?
I thought it was fantastic. So we went for breakfast and dinner. So dinner, it is recommended to get reservations, even though it's a complimentary restaurant, but it does fill up. For breakfast and lunch, you can just run in, grab a quick bite. So breakfast, we did bring it back to the suite, which they were totally fine with. Waffles were great. The dinner though, the food was scrumptious. They had a macaroni bar, which offered all these different types of macaroni dishes, which was fantastic. They had a hummus, they had chicken, they had lots of different options.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to echo her sentiments here. So the breakfast feels like it was just breakfast food that you would find at any of the other breakfast places, right? But there's only so much you can do with eggs. There's only so much you can do with bacon, right? So they had your eggs, your bacon, they had scrambled and fried and poached and eggs Benedict, those type of things, waffles, pancakes, pastries. But it is just another place you can go that early on will be quiet. When we went, it was packed. We chose not to try to fight for a seat, so we just went and got our food and left, like she said. For dinner, however, though, it was fantastic. I had amazing lamb chops there. You wouldn't expect it because, you know, it's a buffet. but they really did a good job. They had a hummus that was probably the most flavorful hummus I've ever had. It was fantastic. And for dessert, they had baklava that night.
Yes.
And the baklava was like
To die for.
excellent. Really, really delicious. So for a complimentary included dining restaurant, I really like the Solarium Bistro. Do make reservations if you're planning on going for dinner. That way you don't get waitlisted or have to wait at all. You can just show up and go. But early on in your sailing is when you want to go if you're trying to go for breakfast or lunch and actually find a seat. So scale of 1 to 10, Solarium Bistro for an included place, what do you think?
I feel like I'm throwing out a lot of 10s this sailing, but I would give it a 10. 0 complaints on the Solarium.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a 9 here. It's included, right? So that's awesome. That's a huge benefit that you have another option to go dine at that's included. And the dinner food was fantastic. The breakfast food was the same as it was gonna be everywhere else. And the service was great, but it does fill up fast because it is a smaller space. And due to the limited seating, that's the only reason I'm gonna bring it down just a small peg. And on this ship, it does tend to get a bit loud in there because the hook is actually a mezzanine over the Solarium Bistro, and they're both open to each other. So you have 2 restaurant noises competing against each other. So just due to the lack of seating in one and the overall noise ambiance in the restaurant, I'm gonna bring it down to a 9 out of 10, but hey, it's free. So definitely worth going to. Another complimentary place that gets busy is El Loco Fresh out on the pool deck. This is the Mexican restaurant where you can get burritos, nachos, tacos. Okay, you kind of go down the line and they put the stuff on your food, hand you the tray, and then you take your tray over to a basically salsa bar that has all of the toppings you could want, onions and tomatoes and cheeses and jalapenos, tons of different hot sauces. I mean, it is a very popular place. And there is quite a bit of seating on the Oasis class ships for this, but even still, this gets extremely popular at peak times. So definitely check the cruise compass and figure out which times are gonna be the off times and try to go either early or later on before they close because it is packed all the time. I really did enjoy it, but it's tacos and burritos and nachos, so what's not to enjoy? It's very basic, but very easy, very quick, and when you're just wanting something while you're on the pool deck, you really can't beat it. Okay, so for El Loco Fresh, an included restaurant, what are your thoughts? What's your rating here?
So I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The guacamole there, I really liked.
Okay.
I did not like the disorganization around the toppings bar because it was kind of like a free-for-all and you just had to dive in and go get it and hope for the best.
It's an included restaurant, right? So I'm not gonna beat it up too hard here. I'm also gonna go with an 8 out of 10. And really the main drawback is there's a lot of people there competing for space, competing for food, competing for tables. So that's the main drawback. But hey man, it's tacos, burritos, and quesadillas. What's not to like? It's very easy to get, very easy to understand what you're doing. And then as long as you don't mind fighting your way into the salsa bar, you're gonna be fine. So I really liked El Loco Fresh as well. It's another great included dining option on board. So some quick highlights for things that are included. You're gonna have things like Cafe Promenade, which is gonna have your coffee and your like finger foods, small sandwich snacks, pastries, stuff like that. Very easy to go to, no need for a rating. It's just something like that. Park Cafe, almost identical, small sandwiches, fruits, stuff like that. That's gonna be inside of Central Park. So that's just another option. Where Cafe Promenade is gonna be on the promenade, right? The other included restaurant on the promenade is Sorrento's Pizza. It's obviously a pizzeria with several different types of pizza there. They also have some sandwiches and some pastries depending on the time of day. These ships do have a standalone Starbucks location on board, and that is not included. That is an additional upcharge. If you do have the beverage package, you can get drinks from Starbucks, but it does not include any edible items. It's only drinks. Inside of the spa, you can also go there to the Vitality Cafe. That's another spot that you can get Starbucks drinks at, or you can go get smoothies or protein shakes, stuff like that there. So that's just another quick option for you. That is not included unless you have the beverage package. So just know that. And it's smoothies and coffee. There's really not a lot to review here. And to wrap this thing up, we have 2 more places. You have the Windjammer, which is included. It's your buffet, your typical walk around, huge buffet, tons of options, tons of things to eat there. Honestly, on this ship, I do want to just mention that the times that we've been there have actually been really good. Like the food was flavorful, the food was tender, the food was to temperature, where normally you don't really expect that from like a mass cattle trough style buffet.
Right.
Yeah, so it was really good on board here. So if you're just like, hey, I don't want to do all this specialty dining, that is a great, easy option. You don't have to dress up. You don't have to worry about it. You can go in, get your food, sit there, eat and go, or you can take it to go and go to the pool deck and go back to your room. So the Windjammer on board has been great as well. We also have done room service on board. And if you're curious to what's worth ordering from room service that's not from a restaurant, we actually did a video trying every single thing from room service on Royal Caribbean that you can see right here. But on this ship, I will say the room service was a little long. Took a long time to get stuff. So if you're planning on ordering food and it coming to you at a reasonable amount of time, you better order before you're hungry because it took a long time to get here. And last but not least, if you happen to be sailing in a suite, you're gonna have access to Coastal Kitchen. Coastal Kitchen is the exclusive restaurant for the suite neighborhood or the top 50 pinnacles on board the ship. Coastal Kitchen does have the same exact menu every single day. Some people love it and will go there for that reason because they just know what they want and they like what they like. And if that's you, then great, you can get it there. When we were there, the quality of the food was excellent. I had no complaints. No complaints about the service, no complaints about the quality or the flavor of the food. It was good. I'm just not the type of person that's gonna eat the same thing every single day, every single meal. So they have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu, but those never change. And Coastal Kitchen is included. It's a free restaurant as long as you're staying in a suite. That is not an additional upcharge. Well guys, thanks for hanging in there with us. I know this was a long video, but there are a ton of dining options on board an Oasis class ship. Guys, I really hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as it really helps us out. As always, you can scan the QR code here to have Amy book the perfect cruise on the perfect itinerary for you. And if you're interested on seeing more about Symphony of the Seas, we did a full review and we're gonna have multiple different stateroom tours for you guys to see, and you can find that on our channel. We appreciate you guys and we will see you on the next one.